Today, I am going to expose the dirtiest, most secretive, and most ruthless financial scam in the world. This isn't just a story about wealth. Stop, put down whatever you are doing and look at your bank account, look at your monthly paycheck, and then look at your grocery receipt. Do you feel a deep, suffocating sense of powerlessness? You wake up early, you work late into the night, sacrificing your health for pieces of paper that lose value every single day, and yet you still panic when you see the skyrocketing cost of living. Have you ever wondered why the harder you work, the poorer you feel? Why does the mainstream media constantly tell you that the economy is great, the stock market is booming, and inflation is under control, while your real purchasing power is being devoured by an invisible parasite? This is not a coincidence. This is definitely not a normal economic cycle. This is a premeditated, ultimate heist targeting ordinary people across the globe. It's a story about power, control, and how global financial oligarchs are conspiring to drain your last drop of wealth. They want you to keep your eyes shut. They want you addicted to mindless short videos, celebrity gossip, or the illusion of crypto bubbles and tech stocks. They want you to truly believe that real wealth is just a string of digital numbers on your banking app. But right now, at this very second, the so-called smart money, Wall Street titans, multinational conglomerates, top-tier investment banks, and the hidden elite are executing the largest physical asset heist in human history. They are quietly, frantically, and ruthlessly emptying every single ounce of physical silver from the COMEX vaults. Yes, you heard me right, every single ounce. On television, guys in expensive suits laugh at gold and silver, calling them a barbarous relic or a dead asset. But in the shadows, like hungry wolves smelling blood, they are hoarding the most irreplaceable, real, hard money asset on earth. This is an open conspiracy, a stealth silver squeeze that will soon detonate the global financial system, wiping out millions, but allowing a few awake individuals to completely change their social class. Let's zoom out and look at the macro picture. Look at the gold market. Gold has been repeatedly smashing all-time highs, breaking the boundaries of every technical analyst's imagination. Why is gold surging? Because central banks worldwide, especially Eastern powers, Russia, and the entire BRICS alliance, are aggressively dumping US treasuries and shipping tons of physical gold back to their own vaults. What are they doing? They are de-dollarizing. They are building the final arc before the imminent collapse of the fiat currency system. If the central banks who make the rules no longer trust the paper money they print, why on earth would you tie your life savings to credit currencies that could become worthless overnight? But inside this roaring precious metals bull market, there is a bizarre, abnormal phenomenon: silver, the monetary metal that has stood side by side with gold since the dawn of history, the critical material with an irreplaceable role in modern industry, yet its price is being held underwater by a massive invisible hand. The gold to silver ratio has reached an absurdly high historical level. In nature, the ratio of gold to silver in the Earth's crust is about 1 to 15. Throughout thousands of years of human monetary history, the ratio stayed around 1 to 15. But today, it frequently hovers between 1 to 80 or even 1 to 90. What does this mean? It means silver is drastically, artificially undervalued, and this is exactly what the Wall Street elite want. They are executing a proven strategy in full effect to bleed retail investors dry. The internal data isn't just shocking, it reads like a financial horror movie. Let's look at what just happened in COMEX between February and March of 2026. If you don't understand how COMEX works, let me explain it simply. COMEX Silver Inventory is divided into two categories: eligible and registered. Eligible silver is just sitting in the vault owned by private parties, not necessarily for trading. But registered silver, that is the actual available metal ready to be delivered against futures contracts. It's the lifeblood of the market. According to highly classified tracking data, within just a few weeks, the registered silver in COMEX evaporated. It plunged from roughly 102.2 million ounces down to a mere 81.7 million ounces in a free fall. Do you understand the terror behind these numbers? Over 20 million ounces of physical silver completely wiped out in weeks. This implies a daily inventory deficit of millions of ounces. On some extreme trading days, we saw massive negative adjustments of tens of millions of ounces. Do you think this is normal trading? No, this is a bank run. This is financial leviathans violently grabbing the last lifeboats before the volcano erupts. They are taking cash, even borrowing cheap money, walking straight into the COMEX vaults and demanding physical delivery. They are loading tons of silver bars onto armored trucks, shipping them to deep underground private vaults in Switzerland, London, or Asia, removing them from circulation forever. And yet, if you turn on the financial news, what do you see? Nothing. Dead silence, no headlines, no breaking news, no Wall Street analysts warning you. Bloomberg, CNBC, the Wall Street Journal, all mainstream financial media are completely blind to this unfolding physical metal crisis. Why? Because the people funding the media are the exact same people emptying the vaults. They need time, they need silence. They need to complete the heist of the century before you even wake up. This is their masterclass in paper price manipulation. Imagine you are a retail investor. You did your research, you saw the massive value in silver, and you bought silver ETFs or futures to protect your wealth. Then suddenly, in the dead of night, during the lowest liquidity hours between the Asian and European market handover, Wall Street traders with zero negative economic news dump hundreds of millions of ounces of paper silver short contracts onto the market. Yes, paper silver, fake contracts, just lines of code on a screen that don't actually exist. In this ridiculous futures market, they sell more silver in a day than the entire world mines in a year. The price instantly crashes. A massive, terrifying red candle appears on the chart. Your portfolio bleeds. Your stop losses are ruthlessly triggered. You panic, you get scared, you doubt your own thesis. Then, a so-called senior analyst in a tailored suit pops up on the news, using sophisticated jargon to tell you silver is dead, telling you AI and crypto are the future. Finally, under relentless psychological torture, you give up. You hit the sell button. You take the loss. But the moment you hit sell, the real players behind the screens, the masterminds who crash the price, are smiling as they buy your position. But they don't keep the paper. They take the artificially suppressed price they squeezed out of you, cash out, and turn around to buy physical silver. They used fake paper chips to steal your real purchasing power. They want to shake you out completely before the inevitable price revaluation destroys their paper Ponzi scheme. This psychological warfare is vicious but incredibly effective. Just look at how crushed retail sentiment is right now. Take the Sprott Physical Silver Trust, PSLV, for example. It's one of the few funds that actually holds real physical silver, not paper derivatives. Recently, PSLV shares were reportedly trading at a massive 5.69% discount. What does a discount mean? It means extreme pessimism, extreme fear. It means investors are so terrified that they are willing to sell their silver for less than the actual metal inside the vault is worth. Let's look back at history. During the massive silver bull run of 2011, when silver nearly hit $50 an ounce, do you know what the PSLV premium was? An average of 17.3%. Back then, retail investors were so desperate not to miss out, they gladly paid a 20% markup just to get exposure. And now, in 2026, with exploding industrial demand, drained vaults, and runaway global inflation, retail investors are panic selling at a 5.69% discount. It is a psychological miracle in financial history and Wall Street's most perfect victory. They intentionally let the retail discount widen. They need this discount. They need to create the illusion that the silver market is weak and hopeless. They use this slow, agonizing bleed to force the last remaining retail investors to capitulate or keep potential buyers sitting on the sidelines in fear. But my friends, lies can deceive the eyes of retail investors. Paper contracts can distort the price on a screen, but they can never, ever break the cold, hard laws of math and physics. The traders sitting in Wall Street skyscrapers can print infinite paper contracts, but they cannot conjure a single ounce of real silver out of thin air. Silver is not just another metal. It cannot be printed by the Federal Reserve. In this universe, silver is only created by the explosion of supernovas. And on Earth today, silver is not just an inflation hedge. It is the absolute technological lifeblood of modern human civilization. Listen to me carefully. This is not about jewelry. This is not about antique coins. This is about the future operation and survival of human society. Let's look at the real industrial demand, the physical laws that will rip the paper manipulators to shreds. The global transition to green energy and high-tech infrastructure has permanently broken the supply and demand balance of silver. First, the solar industry. How do you think solar panels generate electricity? Silver. Silver is the most reflective and conductive metal on the planet. Every solar panel is laced with ultrafine silver conductive paste. With the global obsession for carbon neutrality, solar panel production is growing at an exponential rate. Years ago, solar was a tiny fraction of silver demand. Today, it is a supermassive black hole swallowing supply. And the worst part, the silver used in these panels is dispersed in microgram quantities, meaning it is economically impossible to recycle for the next 20 to 30 years. That silver is gone from the global supply pool forever. Second, the electric vehicle revolution. Whether you like EVs or not, it is an unstoppable industrial trend. A traditional gas car uses about 15 to 28 grams of silver, but a smart EV, with its complex battery management systems, autonomous radars, sensors, and massive screens, it consumes 2 to 3 times more silver. Tens of millions of EVs are rolling off assembly lines, and every single one is draining the silver vaults. Next, AI and tech infrastructure. You hear about ChatGPT, computing power, and NVIDIA chips every day. But did you know that these massive AI data centers generate terrifying amounts of heat? To prevent chips from melting down, they require the most efficient thermal and electrical conductors. Silver's conductivity destroys copper and gold. Every high-end chip packaging, every high-speed data interface requires silver. The more advanced our tech gets, the more AI scales, the more explosive the demand for silver becomes. And finally, modern military industry. A multi-million-dollar precision-guided missile, a communications satellite in orbit, a stealth fighter jet. Their critical electronic components absolutely require the reliability of silver contacts. When it comes to national defense, the price of silver doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is getting the physical metal. This explosive structural demand is not a paper concept Wall Street can short. It is physical material being consumed every single second. Now look at the other side of the coin. Mining supply is dead. Silver is incredibly unique. Over 70% of global silver is mined as a byproduct of copper, lead, zinc, and gold. This means even if the price of silver doubles overnight, miners cannot rapidly increase production. They won't blindly mine more copper just to get a tiny bit of byproduct silver because it would crash the copper market. For years, global silver mining output has been stagnant or declining. The highest grade silver mines were hollowed out decades ago. This creates a mathematical dead end that terrifies every short seller. For consecutive years, the global silver market has been in a severe structural deficit. Every year, the silver we consume in industry and investment heavily outweighs what we pull from the ground. How do we fill this massive gap? There is only one answer: eating into the reserves, draining the surface inventories of COMEX, the London LBMA, and global exchanges. That is why COMEX registered silver plummeted to 81.7 million ounces in a blink of an eye, because physical industry is screaming for metal. Solar giants need it, EV makers need it, big tech needs it, defense contractors need it, and the truly smart money, the multinational conglomerates with elite intelligence networks, saw this irreconcilable supply-demand contradiction years ago. They know the vaults will run dry, so what are they doing? They are using every loophole in the derivatives market, risking prosecution from regulators, fighting tooth and nail to keep the price underwater. Why? Because as long as the price is suppressed, clueless retail investors will keep selling, and miners in producing countries will keep selling their blood and sweat for cheap. Wall Street wants to hoard the pathetic remaining inventory before the world, especially retail investors, wakes up. Do you think this manipulation is a conspiracy theory? Go check the historical records. It's not a secret. It is written in court verdicts. Over the past decade, Wall Street megabanks like JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, and Scotiabank have been fined hundreds of millions, even over $1 billion, by the DOJ and CFTC for manipulating precious metals using spoofing. What is spoofing? They place massive fake sell orders in the trading system, creating the illusion of an overwhelming avalanche of selling. It terrifies real buyers from entering the market and forces current holders to panic sell. Then, a microsecond before their fake orders execute, high-frequency trading algorithms cancel them, and they flip to buy the physical metal at rock-bottom prices. Why would they gladly pay billion-dollar fines and accept criminal charges just to keep manipulating silver? Are they stupid? No, they are brilliant. Because compared to the trillions of dollars in hidden profits they make by suppressing the price and hoarding physical assets, $1 billion fine is just a drop in the bucket. It's simply the cost of doing business in their Ponzi scheme. Today, the leverage in the paper market is horrifying. It could trigger an avalanche at any second. Analysts estimate that for every 1 ounce of physical silver in the market, there are hundreds of ounces of paper silver claiming ownership over it. It's like an airline selling 100,000 tickets for a flight that only has 1,000 seats. As long as everyone doesn't try to board the plane at once, as long as people just trade the tickets on their phones and settle the difference in cash, this absurd game continues. The system looks stable. But today, in March 2026, everything has changed. Manufacturing giants from the East, multinational tech firms, and sovereign wealth funds who see through the dollar illusion are refusing to play the paper game anymore. They see through the infinite money printing. They see the fragility of fiat currency. They are walking right up to the COMEX delivery window with hard cash, slamming their fists on the desk and saying, "Game over, I am done gambling with your paper futures. Give me the physical metal, load it onto my truck right now. I am taking it home." This is exactly why the system is fracturing. This is why registered inventories crashed off a cliff, creating millions of ounces of implied deficits. The paper shorts do not have the physical metal to deliver. They are robbing Peter to pay Paul, or begging in the over-the-counter market, paying massive premiums to borrow silver just to cover their tracks. This giant pressure cooker is at its absolute boiling point. What if, and I mean what if, the retail investors in the West suddenly wake up right now? What if the retail investors who are currently depressed, brainwashed by media, and terrified by the PSLV discount suddenly understand this massive scam? What if they stop selling, unite, and close that 5.69% discount gap? Once retail wakes up, once the masses realize that holding silver is not just holding metal, but holding the only golden key to future wealth and the ultimate shield against hyperinflation, a tidal wave of buying will instantly sweep through this already drained market. We don't even need everyone. If just 1% of stock investors or 1% of crypto traders decide to rotate a fraction of their profits into physical silver, the resulting physical shortage and massive premium reversal will trigger a literal financial tsunami. It will be an epic, face-melting rally completely uncoupled from Wall Street's manipulated paper price. Imagine this. What happens the day COMEX registered vaults drop below 50 million ounces, below 20 million? What happens the day it hits zero? The curtain will fall. The exchanges will be forced to play their final, most shameless card, the force majeure clause. They will pull the plug. They will freeze all trading. They will look at everyone holding a paper long contract and coldly say, "We are sorry. We don't have a single gram of silver left in our vault to give you, but as compensation, we will forcibly settle your account in cash using yesterday's paper closing price, using the fiat dollars we print for free." At that exact moment, the paper silver Ponzi scheme will officially die. The paper price will be permanently pinned at a fake, meaningless low. But the price of physical silver in the real world will completely break the chains. At that point, who cares what the screen says? The real price will be dictated by those who hold the physical metal. Silver on the black market, the coins tightly clutched in your hands, the bars inside physical trusts, will skyrocket overnight. Industrial giants will enter a state of pure panic. To prevent their billion-dollar assembly lines from shutting down, to deliver their solar panels and EVs on time, they will be forced to pay any price, aggressively hunting down every last ounce of silver on the planet. $50 an ounce? That's just the starting line. $100, $200? No. When global trust collapses, when the future system defaults, when industrial giants scramble for supply at any cost, the price of real assets will become a black hole for fiat currency, with no upper limit. Silver, the metal they mocked as poor man's gold, will unleash decades of suppressed, terrifying revenge. My friends, in an era filled with lies, deceit, and capital hunting, the truth is incredibly expensive and ignorance is fatal. This is not just an investment thesis about silver. This is a class war without gunpowder. This is the ultimate showdown between real wealth and phantom credit. This is the global elite's final, devastating strike against the purchasing power of the working class. The smart predators are using your fear, your impatience, and your lack of financial literacy to execute the wealth harvest of a lifetime. As of early March 2026, every day, every hour, every second, COMEX physical silver supply is facing an agonizing, relentless squeeze. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, multinational conglomerates, and offshore institutions are greedily, desperately buying it up. They are taking the assets you surrendered out of fear, treating them like treasure, and locking them deep underground. Meanwhile, tragically, the average retail investor covers their eyes in the darkest hour right before the dawn. They willingly hand over their weapons, missing out on the greatest and possibly the last wealth transfer opportunity of our generation. Do not be the fool who sells at the absolute bottom of the century. Do not let a lifetime of hard labor be stolen by fake financial codes and media lies. See through this scam, see through this cannibalistic system. When they violently smash the price and create panic, understand that they are creating the perfect entry point for you to acquire real wealth. When mainstream media is suspiciously quiet, when analysts are unanimously bearish, it is because they are covering the secret retreat and accumulation of massive capital. Learn about physical assets. Trade your depreciating paper for the real resources they cannot print, computers cannot calculate, but humanity's future cannot survive without. Hold a piece of silver in your hand, feel its weight. That is a sense of security no banker can ever strip away from you. Do not let Wall Street have the last laugh. Do not let them empty your pockets only to mock your ignorance later. Wake up. The storm is not just coming. The vortex of the storm is already devouring the vaults beneath our feet. In this unprecedented stealth silver squeeze, in this violent restructuring of global wealth, you will either wake up and become a witness to history and a victor of the new economy, or you will stay asleep and become the collateral damage left behind after their greedy feast, struggling in the hyperinflation of tomorrow. The curtain is open, the vaults are emptying, the choice is in your hands right now.